Simple sales process, part 2. Okay, so we talked about 4 keys. Universe list, going to appointments, converting natural resources, raw material, into real opportunity. And then number 4, ensuring that that opportunity and that closed customer or committed customer moves through the pipeline effectively. Remember, as I told you before, this is very simple. It's going to sound simple, but most people don't make the choice every day to do the simple things that create results. Most things are not complicated. What's complicated is doing what I just said. The simple things that create results. So we talked about number 1, universe list. We got to continue to build that. We're going to categorize that. We're going to set time every single day to make phone calls. When you're making phone calls from that universe list, you're looking for new opportunity. You're telling them how they're, asking them how they're doing, exchanging relationship, building relationship, looking for more opportunity, looking for additional people for your universe list. The other thing you're doing on those calls is you're setting appointments. So as you start thinking about your day, you start breaking up your day. Depending on each person's day is different. Each person's life is different. For you, you have your daughter, moving her around, your hours are what they are. Your day should be blocked off that way. So when I would travel, I would be heading to a market weeks before. In my case, I would know where I was going, how many days I was going to be there, and I would start to block off my calendar. In the beginning, I would have 4 or 5 hours of time blocked off for appointments. So I might have a breakfast appointment at 7:30, an appointment at 10, somebody for lunch at 12, give myself some time during the day. Maybe I meet with somebody at 3, and then I go to dinner at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. That was what I was trying to accomplish every day. So when you're making your phone calls, you're looking for these appointments. But the thing you don't want to do is cloud your day with appointments that don't make sense. We talked about the universe list. We talked about A, B, and C. C's are people who have really very little to offer. They're good people, might be great friends, wonderful people, but they don't have a significant amount of business to offer you. So setting an appointment with them to spend an hour and a half or 2 hours of your day, which is travel time, sit down time, get to know you time, buy a lunch time, close up the meeting, get back in your car and move on. That's a lot of time to invest. You could make 40 phone calls on your universe list in the same amount of time. So it's important to think about who you're spending that time with. Another very simple thing that most people will say, your biggest asset that you have, because you don't have another natural resource other than the time in the day that you have to service people and to try to get things done. So that's very important. Only the right people should get appointments. Now, when you go to an appointment, you need to have an agenda. One of my great mentors, John Fiore, I worked for him for many years. We worked together for many years as well. And when I first started in the market, that first week that him and I traveled, the first day I was hopping out of my car getting ready to go into an appointment that I had set. And he asked me, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, I'm going to the appointment." He said, "Well, do you have an agenda? What are you planning on doing?" And it was a eureka very early for me. And I've been lucky, just like I know you've been lucky, to have these people that have engaged me throughout my career that are incredible message deliverers. And they're consistent and they sustain that. So after the first meeting, we paused for even 10 minutes and we wrote down the 5 or 6 things that we wanted to accomplish when we went in to see this center of influence, this person from my universe list. When we were going to go in and see them, we were going to talk about what? So we mapped it out. And most of these appointments end up being the very same way. Again, it's just simple. So, first thing you have to do, build and deepen your relationship. Don't jump in and hit him up across the head or her up across the head with, I'd like a deal from you today. Ask them how they're doing. Take notes about the things that you know about them. They have children, 2 kids, 3 kids, a boy, a girl. Where do they live? Where do they go to college? Are they married? If they were married, where did they get married? What's their wife's name or their husband's name? Where are they from? Where are their parents from? What happens when you do that in these appointments is you begin to be able to make a connection that most people don't have. You start to connect. You start to become closer. You find things that are in common. You go from becoming business partners to becoming friends. That's an extraordinarily important piece of that interview or the appointment. The next thing that you think about is detailing out what you're working on for them. Because if it's we've talked about before, A, B, C. If you're out to lunch with an A1, you're going to be talking first off about how they're doing, second off, how their life is, third, what am I working on? What are the things that you've given me that I'm still processing? What has closed? What's open? What's next? As you start to detail that, give them the heads up, you ask them any questions. You also want to talk to people in these appointments about things that are new. What do you have that's new? Like in your case, you have new listings. You have people that have moved into town. You have exciting things that might be happening in the finance market. Whatever those things are, what are they? What's new? What's happening? In our case, from some of the folks that I've worked in, it's a new product. Or it's a product that over time, when you go on an appointment, normally you're not dumping everything that you have on the table at once. You can get bits of explanation for what you do, but there's no way, even in an hour, that you can deliver the entire value proposition that you have. I'm going to turn the light on. It's getting dark here in the car. There's no way that you can deliver that in that period of time. So, the next thing that you want to do is you want to ask for business. Now, for most people, for some reason, that's extraordinarily complicated to do. But if you were in the hospital and you needed surgery and the surgeon walks in, the surgeon's not going to be embarrassed about asking you whether or not he can conduct the surgery, because that's what he does for a living. You're exactly the same way. You're a professional saleswoman. It's time to ask the question. You're at your appointment. You've exchanged your relationship. You've built that. You've deepened it. You've told them about the things you're working on. You're going to ask that question. Very simple. What are you working on today that I can help you with? End of story. Very simple. Very clean. Works perfectly. It's not intrusive. It's not, hey, I'm a salesperson. I need your lead so I can make money. It's, what are you working on today that I can help you with? You're going to get a couple answers there. Nothing, which would be strange from an A, so you might want to challenge that. Or, yes, I have a lead. Mr. Smith works in my office, just moved in. I helped relocate Mr. Smith, and he is in the market for a house. He's been renting for 6 months, and now he wants to buy. Perfect. What's his number? Your center of influence might give it to you. Or they might say, well, you know what, let me call him first to make sure that's okay for you to call. You'd say, perfect. Here's what I'm going to do. When do you think you're going to make contact with him? You might say Sunday. Okay. Monday morning, if I haven't heard from you, I'll give you a ring. Your universalist contact, your center of influence, is going to say sure. 98% of the time they say sure. 2% of the time they say, you're crazy. Why would you ever ask me that? The tough part is that people that can't get past the inconvenience of being a salesperson, they live their life in that 2%. They live their life in the 2% of times when someone's going to not be happy that you asked the question, as opposed to living your life in the joy and the success you get from the 98% of the time when someone's either going to say, yeah, I got something for you, or hey, no, I don't right now, but I'll be thinking about you. The last thing we do in the appointment, ask for additional people for your universe list. It's the same thing we do when we're calling our universe list, remember? It's the same thing we do here. The deeper our bench gets, the more opportunity we have on that universe list, the better off we are going to be able to build that pipeline, build our business, and become as successful as you want to be. Okay? One last note. When you finish your appointment, right when you walk out, go into your briefcase, pull out a pad of paper. Write a quick thank you note. Thank you for lunch today. I enjoyed getting to spend time with you. You always put something personal. It was great to hear that your daughters made it through the ballet and made it into the second class or whatever it is. Touch that personal side. Thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to helping Mr. Smith with what it is they need. 3 or 4 sentences. Fold that document up, put it in an envelope, put their address on it, and stick it back in your briefcase and mail it out. That was part 2. I will work on part 3. Probably not today. But miss you, love you. I know you're going to kill it. Stay focused, make it happen, and we'll talk to you soon.